ఇంకా ఎవరు రావట్లే కదన్నా.
Commerce B, yeah? Commerce.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just unmute yourself, all of you. Okay. So I'm Usha. I'm handling the semester 1 business organization to you. Welcome to the online classes. And today I'm going to discuss the few topics. One minute. So these are the contents or the syllabus of the business organization. Already you know what subjects you have in the semester 1. One of the subject is business organization. So I'm going to deal this topic. Excuse me, please unmute yourself, all of you.
Okay, ma'am.
Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself, all of you. Okay. So here, this is the syllabus or the contents. Totally, there are 5 blocks. So each block has the three topics of each. Block number 1 is introduction to business. Block number 2 is forms of business organization, that is part 1. Block 3 is forms of business organization, that is part 2. And block number 4 is sources of finance. And block number 5 is stock exchange and stock exchange. So now here, let us discuss the topics here. The block number 1. So the title of this subject is business organization, where it consists of 2 words. Okay. One is business and the one is organization. So now here, if you want to know, so your degree is BCom. So abbreviation of BCom is Bachelor of Commerce. If you want to know what is commerce, obviously you have to know this subject, that is business organization. So first you have to know what is this subject, and then you will be knowing the others. Easily you will be knowing what is the meaning of the word commerce. So now here the 2 words are there, business organization. So here the first word you see business. So the meaning of the business, everything will be discussed in the block number 1, consisting of 3 topics, where I'm going to discuss this topic today. That is, topic means in the sense today, block number 1. Afterwards, in the next few classes, totally there will be 6 classes here. So today I'm going to deal about the first block, that is introduction to business, some concepts. Block number 2, we are going to discuss combination of the 2 words, that is the forms of different business organization. That is in part 1 and part 2, that will be discussed in the block number 2 and 3. In block number 4, you are going to discuss how to procure the finance for if you want to start a business. Maybe your ambitions, everyone will be having different ambitions. You have joined the online classes. Sorry, at the same time, you have joined the Ambedkar Open University. Maybe you are busy outside, but your aim may be to pursue your degree for achieving your goals. Your goal may be to work in the software, or your goal may be in different fields. Okay. So for that, obviously, if you want to start, for example, if your goal is to start a business enterprise, obviously, this subject will help you a lot. Okay, so now here in the block number 4, you are going to discuss the topic, that is how to procure the finance. So next, block number 5 is stock exchange and commodity market. We are going to discuss. Now today, let us discuss hope you have seen the syllabus here. Now coming to the first block, that is some topics we are going to discuss today, that is introduction to the business. Okay. So in this block, totally there are 3 concepts. Totally there are 3 concepts, means totally there are 3 units. Unit number 1 discusses about the nature and scope of business, and unit number 2 discusses about the social responsibility of business. Unit number 3 discusses about the promotion of business. So now here, these are the contents that we are going to discuss here. That is, first let us discuss what is business. So before discussing the meaning of the topic, first you see here, what you mean by business? If I ask you the question here, literally business means here state of being busy. That means here in the specific sense, business means here any occupation in which the people are engaged in any activity for earning profit. I'm stressing the word profit. So what does it mean here? Business in the specific sense, it means that here, whoever the people are, if they are busy in any type of activity, activity means work, that activity should be relating to the earning of something or acquiring of wealth or for earning of profit. If they undertake any type of activity for earning of the profit, so that is called as a business. So here, in this sense here, in simple words, we can say that any people undertaking any type of occupation that are engaged in the economic activity is called as business. So here, if you see here in the narrow sense, if you see here, business is nothing but here, we can describe with this help of this equation. So I would like to tell directly, the business means here by this equation. If you think that you cannot remember the full sentence here, just remember this equation. So this equation is nothing but here, in simple words, industry plus commerce. So what does it mean here? Let us discuss here. So elaborately down I mentioned here, what is industry, what is commerce. Industry I mentioned with the red color, that is production of goods and services. So what does it mean? Elaborately we are going to discuss, just in brief I am telling here. Commerce is nothing but distribution of goods and services. If you combine both, business is nothing but here production of goods and production and distribution of goods and services is called as business. So remember that here in business may be defined the human activities directing towards the provision of acquiring wealth through buying and selling of goods. That means here business may be defined. 1 minute. Business may be defined. Please unmute yourself, please. Business may be defined the activity in which the different persons are engaged in something or value, whether the goods or services are attained for the mutual benefit or for the profit. So here, this business organization plays an important part, and it consists of different activities, especially activities in the sense economic activities for promoting the concepts of trade, industry, and commerce. So here, these are the definitions. So we can say that the meaning of business is nothing but the human activities concerned with the production and distribution of goods and services for attaining profit or for maximizing profit is called as business. Now here, this is the definition. So definition of business organization is nothing but given by the different persons. So while reading, when you want to read this business, you can go through any type of definition that you like. So if you want to know the elaborate meaning of the word business or the business organization, so these are the different features. So the combination of all these features will give you the elaborate meaning of the word business. Okay, or business organization. So the first one is ease of formation. So remember that here, the ideal situation would be very easy formation for the chosen form of the organization. The legal formalities or the paperwork, etc. are very limited, and the cost and the time should be minimal. Remember that. So whatever the business organization that you start should be very easy in the formation with less paperwork and the legal formalities. So second one is creation of utilities. So utility means use. So whatever the business that you create should be utilized, should consist of some utilities. So these utilities are nothing but they are the measure of satisfaction that every person receives for the use of goods. That means in simple words, the level of usability that the consumer gets from any good is called as utility. For example, you take help is a measure of how much enjoys a movie or the favorite food or other goods. So thus we can say that the important characteristic of every business is nothing but creation of utilities. That is very, very important so that the consumers may use them. So for example, you take, so what are the utilities you may get it out? What uses that I need to create if I want to start a business? There are three types of utilities: place utility, time utility, and the form utility. For example, you take when the goods are transported from the place of production to the place of consumption, who ultimately use them, then place utility is created. Okay, so when the raw material is converted into finished goods, it creates the form utility. Or when it is stored and brought into the market when needed, then the time utility is created. So thus we can say that here, this creation of utilities plays an important part here. Next one is dealing in goods and services. Okay, so business deals with the goods and services. So here there are two things. The business deals in goods as well as in the services also. That is the meaning here. What type of goods? There are two types of goods. One is producer goods and the one is consumer goods. What are consumer goods here? For example, milk, sugar, etc. That means they are directly used by the ultimate consumer. Whereas the producer goods like machine, tools are nothing but that are useful for the consumer goods. Okay. At the same time here, so business deals in goods at the same time with services. What are the services like transport, insurance, banking, etc.? All these are the services. So every business deals not only in goods, that is producer goods and consumer goods, as well as the services also. Next one is economic activity. So in the starting, I told you what is business means here. In simple words, remember that any occupation that every people engage in any economic activity is called as a business. Economic means here money, that you acquire wealth. Whatever the occupation that you do it should be relating to the acquiring of wealth. That is maximization of profit. So thus we can say that here any economic activity takes place when resources like the capital, goods, labor, manufacturing techniques or intermediary products are combined to produce specific goods or services. Thus, all economic activities are characterized by an input of resources, a production process, and an output of products, goods, or services. So the first one is called as the characteristic feature is called as economic activity. The lastly here, profit motive. So profit motive is the main important feature or the main objective of any type of business that you start. So it is the incentive for every business to strive to maximize the profits. So this primary objective of business is to earn money and acquire wealth. So a business that does not earn profit cannot survive for the long period. So thus profit is the essential, is very, very essential for the growth and expansion of every business. So every business must earn profit by serving the society. So these are the features, characteristic features of business, where remember that here, if you combine all these features, you can get the elaborate or the broad meaning of the word business. So if you want to start a business, hope you understood the meaning of the word business. So now, what is the main objective of starting your business? What is the main objective here? Obviously, what will be your reply? That maximizing profits. Maximizing profits will be the only objective for any business. Okay, I will not tell that only one objective you should have. You can have multiple objectives. You should have multiple objectives. So there are now, this slide gives you the complete different classification of objectives of every business. So broadly speaking, we can divide the objectives of business into 6 categories. In that, the main categories are economic, social, and human objectives. So what is the first economic objective? So economic objective is nothing but here. Remember that the main, already I told you that business means it deals with the economic activity. That means acquiring of wealth. So obviously here, the business, the main objective of every business should be acquiring wealth or profit motive. So those objectives are called as economic objectives. That means business is an economic activity and its objectives are mainly economic in nature. That is the meaning here. So that is called as economic objectives. So what are they? Obviously, just now we discussed here profit earning. So profitability. So this is the one of the important objective of business. We normally set a business to achieve the profits for its owner or to the shareholders. Second one is creation of customers. Creation of customers means here every business should create the customers, or every business should create the demand. This is very essential in order to earn the profits. Why? What is the reason? Because customers are the focus of all the business activities. Every business enterprise can exist and grow only when it is able to capture a big market share. That is, if there are enough people to buy the products and services offered by an enterprise. So that is very, very important. That is called as creation of customers. Next one is regular innovation. So this, what do you mean by innovation? Innovation is nothing but introduction of new ideas or introduction of new methods of production is called as innovation. So what is this innovation? This innovation plays a crucial role in increasing the competitive strength and improving the image of every business enterprise in the minds of the customers. So obviously, this regular innovation plays an important part for achieving the objectives of the business, economic objectives of the business. Next one is best possible use of resources. That means, in simple words, optimum utilization of resources. Actually, resources available with the business are actually generally limited. So every business enterprise aims to make the best possible use of physical or the financial and the human resources also. The objectives can be achieved through employment efficient and competent workforce, or making full use of installed machinery, or minimizing the wastage of materials. This is very, very important. So like that, you have to utilize the resources. So that is why it is the optimum utilization of resources plays an important part here. Next one is social objectives. So what are these social objectives? Social objectives refers to the objectives which are desired to be achieved for the benefit of the society. That means business makes use of the scarce resources of the society. So society expects something in return for its welfare. Social objective deals with this social objectives relates to the fulfilling obligations towards the society. So those objectives are called as social objectives. Again, I repeat, social objectives are nothing but here the objectives which are desired to achieve for the benefit of the society. What are they? The first one is production and supply of quality goods and services. That means supplying of goods and services should be at quality. Quality products should be supplied at fair prices. That is the meaning here. That means every business should ensure that there is a regular supply of useful products with fair quality and at reasonable prices. Whereas like this supply of this adulterated goods or inferior quality goods or unusable or harmful products are detrimental to the survival of every business. Remember that. At the same time, you have to remember that here the customer is now more educated and quality conscious and expects the value for his money spent. So that is why remember that whenever you start the business, you have to remember this point that here production and supply of quality goods and services at reasonable prices is very important. Secondly, adoption of fair trade practices. That means you should avoid the unfair trade practices. That means every business enterprise should not indulge in anti-social and unfair trade practices like this black marketing or the hoarding and the adulteration, etc. Such practices are not only illegal but also hamper the image of business community. So every business organization should aim to avoid such undesirable activities. At the same time, next one is contribution to the general welfare of the society. So here, remember that here, that means we have every business should contribute for the welfare of the people in the society. Who are those people? Maybe the people, maybe the employees in the organization, or provision of the people in the society means by the creation of the employment opportunities, or entirely you have to protect the society. That means environment also you can protect here. So remember that firstly, if you see the welfare of employees, no business can succeed without the contribution of its employees. The business should aim to provide fair wages and reasonable working and living conditions to the workers. That is very important. A part of that, generation of employment opportunities plays an important part here. Every business enterprise should create sufficient employment opportunities without any discrimination as to caste or the religion, etc. In our country, if you see in India, unemployment is a serious problem, and the business community can play a dominant role in solving this problem. At the same time here, lastly, protection of environment is also an important contribution for the society. So the business, every business enterprise should take all reasonable steps to check and protect the environment. It must make proper arrangement for the disposal of effluents or the smoke or the waste, etc., in order to avoid the various types of the pollution. So thus we can say that here, this social objectives plays an important part here in the society. Next one is human objectives. What do you mean by human? Human means here individual. In shortcut, human objectives means here individual objectives. Individual objectives are nothing but here it refers to the objectives related to the individual. It relates to the needs of the employees of the organization. As the employees, please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Okay, this human or individual objectives refers to the objectives related to the individual needs of the employees of an organization. As the employees are one of the most valuable resources for every organization, the satisfaction of their objectives is very, very important. So what are they here? They listed here: economic well-being of the employees, social and psychological satisfaction of employees, development of human resources, and etc. All these are the human objectives. In shortcut, a part of this here, provision of healthy and working conditions to the employees is very important. A part of this here, paying of the fair and competitive salaries and the perks is also important. And provision of the opportunities for the personal growth and development of the employees is also important. To provide the reasonable security of service is also important. So all these are the human objectives. A part of these economic, social, and human objectives, you could find the other objectives, that is national objectives, global objectives, and organic objectives. So later on, we can discuss all this. A part of all this here, the last objective is social responsibility. So social responsibility is the main, that means every business is a part of the society. As it makes use of scarce resources of the society, it must meet the expectation of the society. So thus, social responsibility objective refers to the obligation of the business to contribute the resources for solving the social problems and work in a socially desirable manner. So these are the objectives of the business. So now here, this is the next slide describes about the business. So what is business here? In the starting, I gave you one equation. What is business? Business means here, what did I mention? The meaning I told here, production and distribution of goods and services is called as business. So what does it mean here? We can describe in the form of equation that as business equals to industry plus commerce in simple words. So what does it mean? Already there in the first slide here, I told you that industry plus commerce, industry means production of goods and services. Commerce means distribution of goods and services. Okay, so what is industry? Now let us discuss first. So then you will be knowing fully the concept of the word business here. So industry refers to the activity which converts the raw material into useful products. That means it involves the changing of from one form from raw material into finished goods, and industry imparts the form utility to goods. That means the goods are produced, maybe the consumer goods or the producer goods. Consumer goods means, already I told you just now, that they are used by the ultimate consumer for satisfying their wants. For example, daily whatever we use, food items or the clothes or the drugs, etc. Or the producer goods, already I told you that they are the goods which are further used to produce the goods. The production of plant or the machinery or the equipment, all these are the examples of the production producer goods. So now if you see the slide, this industry can be divided into, that means industry may be divided into three categories: primary industry, secondary industries, and tertiary industries. So what is the first one here? Primary industries. So primary industries are nothing, they are again, these primary industries, the name itself indicates, primary industries relates to those activities which are connected with the extraction or the production or the processing of the natural resources and reproduction of the living species. So what are they? They are classified as, one is genetic industry, and the one is called as extractive. That is extractive and genetic industry. First one is extractive industry. What do you mean by extractive industry here? The extractive industry is engaged in raising some form of wealth from the soil or the climate, air, water, or from beneath, from the surface of the earth. That is called as extractive industry. For example, mining, fishing, hunting, all are covered in this category. Second one is genetic industry. Genetic industry is related to the reproducing and multiplying of certain species of animals and plants with the object of earning profits from the sale. For example, nurseries you take, cattle breeding, fish hatcheries, etc. All these are covered under the genetic industry. So these are industries are nothing but primary industries which are connected with the extraction, production, processing of natural resources and reproduction of living species. Next one is secondary industries. So after the primary industries, secondary means these are related to the processing of materials which have already been produced by the primary industries. For example, you take the mining of iron ore. It is a primary industry, but manufacturing of steel is a secondary industry. Thus, these secondary industries are maybe divided into manufacturing industries and construction industries. What are manufacturing industries? Manufacturing industries are engaged in the conversion of raw materials into semi-finished or finished products. Remember that these manufacturing industries supply machines, tools, and other equipment to other industries. Also, remember that the production of the extractive industry are generally used as raw materials by the manufacturing industry. So what type of goods they utilize? These manufacturing industries utilize two types of goods. One is consumer goods. Just already I told you what do you mean by that. Industrial goods. Industrial goods are nothing but they are produced by the for the manufacturing consumer goods, that is producer goods, that is they are the industrial goods. Okay, so these are the goods that are being manufactured by the manufacturing industry. So what are they here? They are analytical, synthetical, processing, and assembling. So here the first one is the assembling, first one is analytical. So what does it mean here? In this industry, analytical industry, a product is analyzed. The meaning, the name itself indicates analyzing. Analyzing means here a product will be analyzed and many products are received and final products in the processing of crude oil. For example, you take, we will get kerosene, petrol, gas, diesel, etc. So that is called as analyzation. That means a product will be analyzed and many products are received as the final products in the processing of any type of the main product. That is, for example, you take the crude oil. Secondly, it is the synthetical industry. In this industry, many raw materials are brought together in manufacturing process to make a final product. For example, soap making, paints, cement, etc. All these are the synthetic industries. Next, processing industry. That means, what do you mean by that here? Processing industry means a product will pass through various processes to become the final product. For example, here, cotton textile industry, sugar industry. Sugarcane raw material is converted into finished product, that is sugar, through some nearly 5 to 10 processes. So finally, we are going to get the finished product of sugar. So those industries are called as processing industries. And the lastly, it is assembling industry. This industry assembles different components to make a new product, as in the case of like the electronic items like television or the cycle, if you take the car or the computers also come under this category. That is assembling industry. So the second type of industry under secondary industry is construction industry. This industry is engaged in the creation of infrastructure for smooth development of the economy. These industries are engaged in the construction of buildings, roads, dams, bridges, and canals. And these industries are the products of other industries like the cement, iron, bricks, wood, etc. So these are the construction industries. Now coming to the third type of industry, that is tertiary industry. In simple words, tertiary means here service. So this industry is also called as service industry. So this service industry means service sector deals with all those activities which smoothen the flow of goods and services from the manufacturers or the producers to those who uses them. This tertiary industry or service industry supplements the activities of both primary and secondary industries. So this, remember that every country, the backbone of all the business activities is nothing but service industry. So every country should have this service industry or service sector plays an important part in every country. So what are they? They are nothing but like the services. What are the services being provided? Transport, banking, insurance, warehousing, advertisement, all these come under this category. So these are called as service industries or the service sector. So industry is primary industry, secondary industry, and tertiary industry. So this is a 50% part of the business. Hope you understood what you mean by the meaning of the word 50% of the business, that is called as industry. Come to the remaining 50% of the business, that is commerce. As a commerce student, BCom, you have to know what is this commerce. Commerce means, here you see the picture. You see the slide here. I mentioned it as the trade and auxiliaries to trade. So if you mention this, commerce, what does it mean here? Commerce is nothing but here, it refers to all those activities which are necessary to bring goods and services from the place of production to the place of consumption for use. So remember that it includes, so that means here after producing the goods, you need to distribute the goods to the market. So whatever the activities that are engaged in the distribution of the goods, those activities comes under this that is called as commerce. So being a commerce student, you have to know what you mean by the word commerce. So trade plus auxiliaries to trade means, in simple words, aids to trade. Aid means help. So whatever the activities that are engaged for helping the trade is called as auxiliaries, in simple words. So commerce is nothing but it is a comprehensive term for all the forms of trade, that is internal as well as external. In simple words, remember that commerce is nothing but it is concerned with the group of activities which are directly or indirectly involved in the distribution of the goods between the place where they come into the existence and the persons who finally use them. So this is called as commerce. So here you see the classification. They are divided into internal as well as the external. One minute. Internal as well as the external. So here, before already I told you that what is the meaning of the word trade here. Just I told you, purchase and sale of goods and services is called as trade. So remember that this is the first essential part of commerce. So this is purchase and sale of goods and services can be divided into two categories, that is internal and external. What is internal trade? Internal trade means here the purchase and sale of goods and services inside the country is called as internal trade. That means buying or selling of goods and services takes place within the geographical boundaries of the country. So that is called as internal trade here. So here if you see, this internal trade can be divided into two types. One is wholesale trade and the one is called as retail trade. Wholesale trade means here goods are being purchased from the producer in wholesale and they are sold to the retailer in retail. Wholesale means in large quantities, retail means small quantities. That is the literal meaning here. So that means the wholesaler sells the goods to the retailer in small quantities where he purchases the goods in large quantities from the producer. So the wholesaler will be in touch with the producer. Now come to the retail trade. Retail trade involves the selling of the goods to the final consumers. That means the retailer is a person who sells the goods, who purchases the goods first from the wholesaler and sell it to the consumer in small quantities. So internal trade consists of two types, that is wholesale trade and retail trade. Next, second one is external trade. So here, whatever internal means, what is the meaning I told? Within the country, whatever the trade that you could find within the country. External trade means here outside the country. Here the trade between two or more countries. Okay, so that is called as external trade. So in shortcut, it is also called as foreign trade or international trade. So what are they? Import trade or export trade and entry-port trade. Import trade is, what do you mean by import trade here? It refers to the purchase of goods from a foreign country. When you import the technology or the capital goods from the other country to our country, that type of trade is called as import trade. So opposite to this import trade is export trade. That means it refers to the sale of goods from to a foreign country, from one country to other country. That is called as export trade here. The last one is entry-port trade. So what do you mean by this here? Sometimes the goods are purchased or imported from one country with the objective of selling or exporting them to some other country. So that is called as entry-port trade. So it is done to benefit from the different prices prevailing in those countries here. So that is called as entry-port trade. So this is called as the first 50% of commerce, that is called as trade. What is the remaining 50% of commerce? That is auxiliaries. In shortcut, is also called as aids to trade. So what does it mean here? Auxiliaries to business is very important for every trade. Auxiliaries means here aids to trade. It means the activities which assist the trade. So what are those activities here? Transport and communication plays an important part here. So the goods are produced at the goods may be produced at places where there are less in demand. So the goods are to be taken from the place of production to the place of consumption. So for this transport facilities helps a lot here. So thus transport facilities plays an important part here. After that, what is the next one here? 1 minute. The next one is warehousing here. So warehousing is very, very important here. So warehousing means here the goods are produced in anticipation of the demand. They may also be produced at a time when they are not needed. So there is a need to store these goods up to the time these are not required for the consumption. So warehousing helps a lot. Next one is here advertising. Advertising plays an important part here. The consumers may not be aware of the availability of various goods in the market. The absence of information about the goods is very important. The absence of information about the goods is a great hindrance in the way of consumers buying them. So thus advertising plays a plays an important part in conveying of the information to the ultimate consumer. Next one is, after that here, insurance also plays an important part here, because there is a risk involved in transporting the goods from one place to the another place. So this that means there will be a risk due to the fire or a theft. The fear of the loss of goods due to any cause acts as an obstacle to the development of trade. So thus insurance coverage helps a lot, not only to the national trade, but also to the international trade. So these are the different auxiliaries or the aids to trade. So a part of this, for all this, you need the finance. Finance plays an important part here. For that, the banking or the financial institutions plays an important part here in making of the goods to move from the goods from place of production to the place of destination. So these are the auxiliaries, or also called as aids to trade. So we completed the remaining 60% of commerce. So this is called as commerce. Hope you understood what you mean by commerce here. So now business means here, again I repeat, industry plus commerce. Industry is 50%, commerce is 50%. That means industry, it includes the left part here. Commerce, it includes the right part here. Industry means here production of goods and services. Commerce means here distribution of goods and services. Hope you understood this topic here. The next topic we are going to discuss in the tomorrow's online class. Hope you have understood the class. If any doubts, you can clarify now itself. Any doubts? May I know any doubts? Do you have any doubts? Okay. So thank you for joining the online class. Have a great day. Good day.
Hello, ma'am. మ్యామ్ ఇది కొందరికి ఒక లింక్ వస్తుంది, కొందరికి ఒక లింక్ వస్తుంది. బీకామ్ జనరల్స్ వాళ్ళు ఇదేనా మ్యామ్?
అందరికి ఒక see one subject only one link you have.
సో ఇప్పుడు కొంతమంది వేరే లింక్ జాయిన్ అయ్యారు, అందులో 200 మెంబర్స్ ఉన్నారు ఇంకా.
Who is taking there?
నో, ఎవరు తెలియదు మ్యామ్, ఎవరు తీసుకున్నారు మరి.
Okay, I'll find out ma. Can you send the link once that other persons got it?
Okay, how can I send, ma'am? Can I send here?
Can you put here in the chat so that I'll
Okay,
pass
ma'am.
the information to the other members, so that tomorrow
Okay.
it will not be inconvenient for the
Okay.
other members? Can you put in the chat box?
Yeah, ma'am. This is the one.
1 minute, ma. Okay.
The
I'll
password,
convey
ma'am.
this information. Thank you for joining. And so
Okay, ma'am.
tomorrow, if they join, just you convey the same link. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
To the others also. Okay. I'll bring this
Okay.
issue also.
So this is the main class,
the
right?
management. Okay. Tell
This
me.
is the main class, right, ma'am?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for joining. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye bye. సాయన్న ఉన్నావా? సాయన్న సాయన్న ఉంటే సైమన్ అని వచ్చింది.
హలో,
నో
అన్నా చెప్పు.
అర్థమైందా అన్న క్లాస్?
పర్వాలేదు, యావరేజ్.